All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. UCLA's transition, excuse me, to the Big Ten Conference just got a little bit tougher as head football coach Chip Kelly is leaving Los Angeles to become the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Now, we knew that Kelly and UCLA were preparing for life in the Big Ten, but Kelly's now going from being a head coach to an OC. And it's been a tough offseason for UCLA as they already lost defensive coordinator D'Anton Lynn to rival USC, and now they're losing their head coach to Ohio State. For me, it's very telling for UCLA when they lose their defensive coordinator to their rival, and then their head coach is taking a job as an offensive coordinator where he's got to take a pay cut. Now, granted that Kelly could see the writing on the wall because there were rumblings about his tenure there, a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But, he was 35 and 34 in 6 seasons at UCLA. The Bruins never won a Pac 12 championship under him. The first 3 seasons were terrible. And, he got things back on track. They did have 3 consecutive winning seasons. But, we've seen Kelly flirting with some other jobs, whether it be in the NFL or in college. And of course, now he is officially leaving Los Angeles. For me, one question is this: is UCLA still an attractive job? I say this because, you look at it and you think about UCLA, it's Southern California, it's the limelight, it's the glitz and the glamour, all that stuff. But, you know, I feel like, and please correct me if I'm wrong or if you disagree with me, I feel like, this is one of those jobs where football wise, they're still trying to hold out hope for a different era. And of course, UCLA's last real glory days came under former head coach Terry Donahue. And how long ago was that? The Bruins football program, it's one of those where, they'll give you a couple of good seasons here or there, but it's kind of like, in LA, in that region, they're in the shadow of USC. Then on top of that, they've been lost in the shadows or lost in the wash, if you will, in the Pac 10 and now, of course, the Pac 12, which is basically not going to exist anymore. But nonetheless, USC, or pardon me, UCLA rather, is kind of like, you just look at it as maybe just another job. Attendance issues at the Rose Bowl. And the Rose Bowl seats close to 90,000 people now, a little bit more, give or take. But we often see that game for a venue, rather a beautiful venue for UCLA home games half full. And really, the only time that you get a near sellout at the Rose Bowl during the regular season is every other year when UCLA welcomes USC to the Rose Bowl. It's one of those where now going into the Big Ten, I guarantee you when UCLA hosts, the likes of Ohio State, you know, Michigan, Penn State, and others, they're going to bring their people. They're going to bring a large contingency of people to the Rose Bowl. I'm sure that they have alumni in the area as well. But nonetheless, it's one of those where the Bruins cannot fill their own venue. We've heard about financial issues at the school as well, and it's just to me at least. Okay, and like I said, feel free to disagree with me on this or not. It just doesn't seem like it's a viable job right now. So you look at when you wonder what are UCLA's options at the head coach spot. You're hearing about PJ Fleck rumored from the University of Minnesota, Barry Odom. People even throwing out Eric Bieniemy's name out there. I don't know where UCLA goes with this, but they're definitely going to try to act fast. They're definitely going to try to right this ship, if you will, as they transition to another league. And I mean, for me, it's one of those where if you're UCLA, like Washington, like Oregon, like USC, you're getting ready to transition to this new league. I think that me personally, I don't see UCLA on the same level as far as being able to transition smoother to the Big Ten. I see them taking like a couple of steps back, if you will, from what Washington is doing, from what Oregon is doing, and of course what USC is doing. Of course, for Oregon and USC, they're going into this with established head coaches. You have Lincoln Riley, of course, at USC, and Dan Lanning at the University of Oregon, and of course for Washington after this 14-1 season. Of course, they're losing a lot of talent, yes, but then they lost their head coach Kalen DeBoer to Alabama, and now they're transitioning rather to Jed Fish. But nonetheless, I think all three of those programs, in comparison to UCLA, are on better footing as they're looking to transition to the Big Ten. Now, on the flip side, for Ohio State, I think this is a recruiting coup, in my opinion. We know about the past between Ohio State head coach Ryan Day and, of course, Chip Kelly, going back to Ryan Day's time playing college football. This is one of those, in my opinion. I think Chip Kelly, as an offensive coordinator, is a huge upgrade to Bill O'Brien. I think if you're Ohio State, that's addition by subtraction. If Bill O'Brien decided to take the Boston College job, and you figure Chip Kelly's going to be fast at work to try to get up to speed with, of course, Ryan Day, if you will, but then more importantly, as players. And there's plenty of talent there at Ohio State. I think that the Buckeyes will begin this season as a top 5 team. They are in prime position to win the Big Ten this year. Of course, things just got helped out with Jim Harbaugh leaving for the NFL. So if you're Ryan Day and Ohio State, you've lost to Harbaugh in Michigan the last 3 years. Obviously, things might change this year. But nonetheless, you figure you're bringing in Chip Kelly as your OC. That's going to help out Ryan Day a lot on offense. Then on top of that, you brought in Will Howard, the quarterback from Kansas State. You got Quinshawn Judkins, the transfer running back from Ole Miss. So now you have both him and Travion Henderson in that backfield. And you still got Emeka Egbuka at wide receiver. Not to mention, you also have the all-world safety in Caleb Downs, who just transferred over from Alabama. So, of course, I think bringing in Chip Kelly, to me, is just a cherry on the top of what has been a tremendous offseason so far if you're the Buckeyes. For UCLA, it really can't get any worse than it already has. Like I said, you lost your defensive coordinator and you lost your head coach. And I mean, it's also telling, and I'll be touching on this soon, talking about college football, because now we're seeing more head coaches either taking OC jobs, defensive coordinator jobs, or just leaving to the National Football League to take coaching positions that they're not the head coach anymore. And I think that's very telling from a lot of different standpoints. But I think Ohio State is primed and poised to make another run at the national championship next year. And of course, the expanding college football playoff will help them with that. But nonetheless, UCLA, they're going to be scrambling and trying to search for a new guy to lead their program, while Chip Kelly once again landed on his feet, this time as he will be wearing the scarlet and gray in Columbus. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.